So, this is the best way to get started as a freelance designer and actually get paid. So, my top tip is take a deposit. First of all, it ensures that the person you're dealing with actually wants the designs and also lets them know that, okay, if you're going to do a deposit, it's non refundable because you've already put in a certain amount of hours before you provided them the first draft. That secures you and that secures them. Even if you put in more hours, you just know that you've cut your losses at some stage. I'm not saying to cut your losses, but when getting started out, you realize a lot of things that you've got to learn. And one of the things that you've got to learn is that working with people is difficult, and the way to make it easier and relieve stress on yourself is to put a deposit down. That's the first one. Deposit will also help just that management between making sure they want the project, because people can quickly change your mind. As you will realize, you'll get to the final version. I am not sure whether you're sure or not. You still have the 50% deposit. So I would say, as you're comfortable, just increase, increase, increase. Some people don't work without the full payment in their bank account, and I totally hear it. However, for me and my principles, I know personally I wouldn't want to pay the full amount. What's so funny is I pay for designs. Like, because I think so much and because I have so much going on, sometimes I pay for a design. I pay the full amount because I understand the person who's doing design. However, I have the understanding that someone might not want to pay for a full design because they've never worked with a designer, and I totally get it. Also, set communications. I used to work on text. Like, people used to have my number. I don't mind people having my number, but for my preference, personal and professional has to be separate. A lot of times I'm doing things for people and they know me, so calling me at weird hours, it's okay when I know them. However, I will email them and be like, this is what we spoke about, just so we have a clear understanding and we can refer back to it. Email will save you, especially if you're a person like me that can not easily forget, but like timeline, keeping track of things is not your best strength. Me keeping track of things is not my best strength. Every day I know I got a design. However, every day I might be working on 7 projects and not know where I am in each individual one. So having an email chain between people is the best thing, and it will save you. And you can quote it and send screenshots, receipts. However, it's not something that I've ever done. Actually, it's something that I've done recently, but it just saves you. Also, a contract. When someone signs something, they begin to get official. Also, I'll say increase your prices. Once you increase your prices, people will begin to appreciate when somebody was spending £30 for a logo, and because they were spending £30, you would expect that they would have less expectations. Not in like a bad way, but like, oh, can you change this? Oh, can you change that? That's not the case. When I increase my prices now, I feel like the expectation on something, maybe I became a better designer, but the expectation became lower. Like, I would get less amends. Also, I'll begin to explain my stuff a bit more, so that might have been a bonus. But when someone pays a certain amount for a logo, they're very clear in what they want. So it makes it easier for you. When someone is spending £30 on a logo and there's no expectation, they have an idea, but there's no expectation. It's for you to set the expectation. This is what I can do. This is the timeline. This will save you. I'll say the final advice when getting started and making sure you get paid as a freelance designer, other than a deposit, is other than a deposit contract, bro. I won't lie. Make sure you don't send the final designs until you've received payment. I have been ghosted. The longest I've been ghosted until now. Now I'm still being ghosted is 4 years. Someone expected me to do their whole designs for them, and I was realizing it keeps adding. It keeps adding. It was by the fifth ad, and I said, let me send you the invoice just so you understand how much your adding is going to cost everybody. They backtracked so fast. I said, send the deposit because they hadn't already even sent the original deposit. So I said, send the deposit. It's probably fine. It was like £100 to read the deposit. I already done a few stuff for them. So altogether, I've spent like quite a few hours. We're in 2025. This is 2021. 4 years later, someone is still owing me. God have mercy. If you know you're owing someone money and you don't pay them, God have mercy. A lot of people actually owe me money. However, one thing I've learned to do is not hold grudges and also bide my time. So keep those receipts. Also, that person could never come to me and ask me to do something for them again. I even still see them post. Did, what got me was the first excuse. The first excuse is my dad, my granddad is really ill. Okay, I'm sorry to hear that. However, when will I be paid so I can pay my rent? Maybe it's another excuse of I'm a uni student. Okay, so am I. Me and you are both trying to survive. However, you want me to do something for you for free. I'm so sorry. There's slave labor laws in this country. Okay, cool. The next one, and I don't ask more than 3 times. If I'd asked you more than 3 times for your money, for my money that I've worked, keep it. However, I've quickly dropped that ethos. Run me my check because I'm working hard. I'm working extremely hard. Scripture in the Bible says that a laborer deserves his. I deserve my pay. I realize I deserve it. When you're working for a company, you get paid. If they didn't pay you, you'll be highly surprised. In fact, you might even sue them. However, me now, I look like fufu, dumbo, stale, oxtail. I don't know that you won't pay me. These are my top tips. Whether you take it or leave it. However, make sure you get the deposit. Make sure you don't send the designs without having some clear understanding of when they're paying you. Um, some people might be paying you the next day. So like you can kind of gauge, but just before you send them the design, send them a quick email. Hi, I have packaged everything. I'm waiting for the receipt of final payment. Before you send the receipt of final before they send that receipt of final payment, they will not receive their logo until you receive the payment in your bank account. Some companies, if you're working for a company, they might not pay you till the 25th and you've already sent off with the designs. However, companies are more you can chase a company more than you can chase someone that you know one to one. Easy. So I'm saying if you're working one to one with someone, either try and get the full amount or get a deposit or don't send the final designs until you receive the deposit. This will secure you. Also the contract. However, the concept contract I've never sued anyone before and I don't know how much it will cost and I don't know even know if I could afford it. But the contract just it gives liability and it also gives, hey, can we refer back to the contract?